You've worked on something that you feel is awesome. In fact, it might just be your best work ever. And then you share it with people, and it's not. And if you're like a lot of people, these negative thoughts start to flow in your mind. Just, I suck, I'm no good. And you may even find yourself feeling a little defensive because this wonderful thing called the ego decides to step in. When it comes to handling criticism, I think one of the first most important things is to understand where the criticism is actually coming from, who is saying it. Like, is this some random internet commenter who's just spewing hate or just saying whatever? Or is this someone who actually knows what the hell they're talking about? Like, is this person knowledgeable about the thing, and is it someone who is in the know, such as your client, your customers, your target audience? Because while everyone can share their opinion, not all feedback should necessarily be considered. You want to really understand who it's coming from, and if it's coming from someone who is knowledgeable, if it's coming from someone who does know what they're talking about, and there's potentially some valid points there, then you might want to consider it. But again, back to the ego. When the ego sees criticism, preferably constructive criticism or feedback, it wants to fight back. It's like the gorilla just pounding on its chest, like, no, I am the best. I know what I'm talking about. Boo, you. And so if you get caught up in that, it puts you in this position where you're not considering any feedback at all. You come from this place of, no, what I did is great, and your criticism, it's invalid, it sucks, it doesn't apply here. But the reality is, if this criticism is coming from people who you know, who do know, and who you trust, then you need to really look at it for what it is, and you need to take a step back and look at things objectively and try to put your ego out of the situation. Ryan Holiday has a great book called Ego is the Enemy. Highly recommend it, because the simple fact is, when you get this feedback, when you get this criticism, if you're constantly just pushing it away and getting in this fight or flight mode, where just this defensive mode, and you don't apply anything that people are saying, people who know and people you trust, then you're never going to get better. You are never going to improve if you do not take this criticism and this feedback to heart. The problem is, when we get this criticism or this feedback, we make it personal. We make it feel like this attack on us, instead of just looking at it for what it is and at face value. And I'm sure you can attest to this. I know I can attest to this myself when I've worked on something and created something that I thought was amazing and it wasn't, and then I got feedback and criticism on it, and then I applied some of those things that were shared with me, that what I was working on ended up being even better than what it originally was. So your ego is really just making it harder for you to get better and for you to improve and to implement some sort of changes. Because if you don't take this feedback into consideration, if you just always push against it and don't change, then things aren't going to change for you.